right, we're talking about circles and circumference today. Have we talked about this already? Yes. So by the end of the class, you guys should be able to find the circumference of a circle, and you should be able to find the radius, diameter, and the perimeter of an object. Remember, hold your finger up and show me what circumference of a circle is. Right? It goes around. Are they going to just say find the circumference on any standardized test? No. What words are they going to use? Matthew? Rotation. What other word might they use? Revolution. Those are all words that they are going to use. Okay? So, a circle, the definition of a circle is the set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a point called the center. That's the formal definition. Okay? Right here is the center point in the middle, right? All the way across, we've talked about this already, is the what, Landon? Diameter. When it comes from the center to a point on the circle, that is your radius. The spokes on your tires of a bike, what do you think those are considered, Marissa? What? The spokes of your tires are considered radii. Here's another thing. It's not one of my standards, but they always seem to throw this in on a test. Draw this on your circle. See it right there? Draw that on your circle. That's not the diameter. It's not a radius. They call that a chord. It's spelled chord, though. That's how you spell it, chord. If they ever ask you to identify it, okay, you're going to be standing in about 2 seconds. Okay? So remember, we've already put this in our notes. The diameter goes all the way across. The diameter is made up of, what's this? From here to here. What's this from here to here? So the diameter is 2 times the radius. Well, also remember, the radius right here, how much of the diameter is that? How much of the diameter is that, Jada? Half. It's half. So the radius is half the diameter. Pretty simple, isn't it? So this is actually your workbook, page 170. Number 1, it says find the diameter of the circle. Number 1, what are they giving you, Matthew? The radius is equal to 9 inches, correct? So how do we find the diameter? How do we find the diameter, Sam? And look, if I extend that out, isn't that the diameter? Bailey, how do I do that? 9 by 2. 2 times 9, Bailey, what is that? So the diameter is 18 inches. Number 2 says find the radius. What are we given on number 2? Chase? We know the diameter is 12 inches. We only want that much of it, right? So how do we find the radius? How do we find the radius? How do we find the radius, Lainey? It's just half of 12, right? Or take 12 and divide by 2, and what do we get, Lainey? You get 6 inches, right? So, the circumference or rotation, revolution, one time around is the distance around a circle. They cannot call it perimeter because a circle doesn't have any sides, does it? You can't add all sides of a circle together. And the way that they came up with pi, what kind of number is pi? Irrational, isn't it? So we have to round all of these answers because they're irrational because of pi. You will pull out your what when you're taking a state assessment to do problems like this? Matthew? The calculator, and Caden? The reference sheet. And on the reference sheet it says circumference is equal to 2 pi r or pi d. You can use either one of those. Remember, circumference is kind of like perimeter, but we can't add all the sides together, right, Marissa? If I were to add up all the baseboard that I need in here and I was measuring by feet, I would add those feet with those feet, and my unit would be feet, wouldn't it? So your label on circumference is just whatever unit that they give it. Okay, so it says find the circumference using the Desmos calculator. We're going to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, look at number 3. What are we given in number 3?
16 inches.
Right, but raise your hand and tell me, what does that 16 inches represent? Callie? This is the diameter, isn't it? We're given the diameter is equal to 16 inches. So which of the 2 above formulas would you think you'd want to use? Okay. Pi times d. So you guys, this is simply plugging in and getting an answer. So we write C equals pi times, well, the diameter is 16. Here's what you need to know. They might say leave it in terms of pi. If they do, you would leave it like this with the inches on the end. Or since R says round to the nearest hundredth, type in pi times 16 on your calculator, your Desmos calculator. So it rounds to 50.27 inches. And remember, this little sideways squiggly, that doesn't mean similar, it means approximately equal to. Look at number 4. It says, it's a circle, right? What are you given in this one? What are you given in this one? What's given to you? Sam?
4.6 inches.
Which is what? The radius is 4.6 inches. Which formula are we going to choose from above? Which one do you think we want to use? Chase? 2 pi r. So, plug in there. We're going to write 2 times pi times 4.6. If they want you to leave it in terms of pi, you would just take 2 times 4.6. That's what? 9.2? You would leave it as 9.2 pi inches. I want you to give it to me rounded to the nearest hundredth. 28.90, and notice she said 90 because that tells the reader, me, that you rounded to what? The hundredths, right? And we're going to put inches. If it says something like the next one, the circumference of a circle is 81.68 centimeters. Find the radius. What are we given on this one? What are we given on this one? Sam?
The circumference.
We know the circumference is equal to 81.68 centimeters, correct? We are trying to find the radius. Which formula do you want to use? Which one do you want to use? Landon?
D pi d.
How many of you want to use pi d? How many of you want to use 2 pi r? It doesn't really matter, but because we're finding the radius, I'm going to use C equals 2 pi r. What do we know in this formula? What do we know in this formula? What's given to us? What's given to us, Jada? What is it equal to? Which is 81.68. This is now just algebra. We are trying to get R by itself. These are all being multiplied together. What do you want to get rid of first? Put your wall up. What do you want to get rid of first? We're going to divide both sides by 2. Yep. These cancel out. We're left with pi r over here equals, what's 81.68 divided by 2, Chase? 40.84. Do we have r by itself? Put your wall up. How do I get rid of pi? Kai?
Divide 40 by 40.84 by pi.
Divide both sides by pi, right, Kai? It's pretty fly. Yep, so my radius is 13 centimeters. You guys are good at algebra, right? You plug into the formula, you solve for what they want you to solve for. All right, look at the last problem. It says find the perimeter. What? Find the perimeter? Have you guys ever seen like the doors? Doesn't this look like the window in the top of a door? Right? It's made up of this. Oops, probably better change color. Right here, this. What is that? It's a half of a circle. It's half of a circle. And what is this? That's exactly what it is, Matthew. Okay, it is half of a circle plus the diameter. Since we're allowed to use the calculator, instead of writing half, what is that as a decimal?
0.5.
We're going to write 0.5. Okay? Circumference is 2 pi r or pi d. Which one do we want to use? Knowing that they gave me that number. Jada? Pi d. So we're going to use pi d. So I'm going to put pi times the diameter, which is 5. That gives you this whole part, right? Plus, then you have to add on the diameter, which is 5. So punch this into your calculator and then tell me what it is rounded to the nearest hundredth. Nia, what was it?
7.85.
That's that part. Order of operations. That's why we went through the review from everything you've already learned. Now you add them together and you get 12.85, and my label is inches.